that you read no the other slides that I have shared on you on our Google Classroom. So I will give some an overview only no and other explanation for such now that we have in each line. So let's start. We have the nature of art. So from the last one, we have the humanities, so another perspective on how no deeper and understand where we study humanities. And now we are in the point of nature of arts. So it is came from Aryan root, no, which are and means to join or to put together. And each Latin word, no term SARS, no artist, and others means no ours says that it is artificially made or composed by man. Ibig sabihin, all of the crops that being made is refer only for the SARS, artists, or arts na meron tayo. Okay? So, arts constitutes one of the oldest no important means of expression development by man. So, as I said no from the first few slides that we have, it is this. It's the idea of expression, it's the idea of the picture of how we express things and we enjoy matters in our surroundings. And being aware of that, it means of how we express the feelings, emotions, and such that we have of our inner one. Next, the nature of art still is particularly refers and skillful arrangement, composition, because common and significant qualities. No, let us take a look now on the sounds, the color line, movements, words, tones, food, express feelings, thoughts, imaginations, and the dreams in amazing, a meaningful, enjoyable way. So the composition is written over here. No, it's just only limited no from such that we have. So you can still put some ideas that you can want no to add no about this. So we are not only limited, so, but these are the some of the new no, that we have in the composition and qualities of art. So when it comes to sound, we have referring to the music. It could be an a cappella one. So it could be itself in the form of singing no. It could be form of other no produced sounds. And musical instruments at the same time. Color is something to do with a different no way of how we put no some colors and the way how we put this is based on our emotions no and our personalities and etc. And the lines, so if it is a movement no if it is horizontal, diagonal, or if it is infinite one, the movements is could be a zigzag, the movements could be not no moving or there's not any kind of movements no and stay on the ground doon lang na meron tayo. The words itself that we put no in the figure of speech and the different things no that we can use no etc. When it comes to the literary arts, it could be a vocal no and a written one. Stone, yes, we have architecture, we have the medium of sculpture, the wood at the same time, and this way is to express feelings we have. Next is humanities, is the arts that deals with man's internal world, personality, experience, matters that cannot directly be measured, classified, or controlled. So again, no, we mentioned about humanities before and experience that internal world. No, how is it being shown on you and how it's being expressed by you? No, it's matters of sabi dito, directly be measured, classified, or controlled. It's up on you. No, how would you project things? No, on a matter of how do you feel? No, that one. So like what happening no right now is you're listening, you are seeing the presentation, and what you experience, what have you uh, feeling right now is something that you directly be measured what I'm talking to and classified or controlled because are you satisfied or not, and even others know that you are want to express your emotions and others no. And as a subject, no, art is employment, the use of perception, insight, feelings, intuition. Like what I mentioned from the other discussion, no, my other class, I said no that very important to know that human uh, humans share curiosity, no attentions, memory, no knowledge. It because again, it's a perception. It's in a mode of insights, feelings, intuition, and how you judge and how you directly feel something about a thing, no, or a thing that how would you express one. So if you're hungry, then your insight and your feelings, it's about you are hungry. You are looking for the food. You are looking for something that you're craving to, that you want to eat. And intuition, how would you see things that you judge, that you directly talk to, and how you perceive something. And your perception, how do you look at that one, and how do you see, no? many things in yourself no, and others. And your insight, how do you value, you teach yourself how you look, no, and how you get no, the meaning of this one and others, no, because it is a subjective, no, and it depends on how we treat, no, its matter or any things that we experience in ourselves. And it is the man expression of himself as a natures and how he views no, his existence differently used no, on how we talk to the meaning of ourselves in when it comes to existence, the philosophical one, and more so it's an expression how we deal with our lives nowadays. So if their existence is something that is useful or not, no, that's your expression how you deal with our existence right now today. This is your philosophy. You know, how do you look to yourself as an individual, as part of this world? And it is heightened expression of human dignity and equipment, felt and shared powerfully in a world increasingly aware of its success and failures. Moreover, that is a part of the life of the people. And we must acknowledge our weakness and we have to also acknowledge yung ating pagiging not perfect in many ways, no. And this one no makes us no aware that the success no is not only a concept of what we have done, but it's also of success that we accept our weaknesses no and our failures in life. So most of us no we believe and we see ourselves no more into success, but try to look no that those failures and what we do not have or our weaknesses in life is a part of our strength and become a powerful one and to increase our own oneself no in describing one thing or our self na meron tayo. Art provides enjoyment and stimulation, particularly when people try to understand them. Yes, it's a provide of enjoyment because it enlights us. It brings that happiness. It's a forms of entertainment because it's so beautiful. And the stimulation, it depends in particular when the people try to understand it and to appreciate and how is this expression is being portrayed in their perception, intuition, and judgment. No, uh, in itself, no, kung paano natin to i-absorb. So, pag kunyari may narinig ka kanta and for you it's a beautiful and for others cannot, no? Not beautiful or not a good no message or can be anything. So, pwede maging against it because of the stimulation and the enjoyment, no? Because it maybe it's not your genre, because it may be your trip, no, a song too, and etc. No, for many reasons. Art provides people with an image of themselves to enable them to further understand their nature, to provide them with a way to showcase their passions, desires, their potentials, and their relationship with other people. Very important, no, that you are sharing and providing, no, an image, no, that let's say sabihin na lang na that you influence other. Yan. So once you influence other, your image now become an idol to others and portrayed by others. And to understand further their nature and provide them is to showcase your passions and desires. So you see the potentials and the relationship with other people because you're imitate at something you idolize no, to one thing. So like what we have, no, katulad ng mga K-pop, Korean drama. So right now it is being copy and imitate by our many program in the Philippines. People with image of themselves have to see and able to further understand their nature. No? So as I said, that become an idol, can imitation, that can be a type of that we portray and to copy them no as their potential as in relationship with other people. So nagiging connected tayo with each other. So like what I said na from other culture like in the Korean, like in the other places in the world no that we applause their works no na meron tayong nakikita. So these are the things that we can see no from them. Then again no pwede din naman tayong mga Pilipino that we can share from this one. So maraming bagay din tayo that we can share from other culture no, na pwede natin makita. Like yung mga ating tourist spots, destinations that sabi nga natin, it's more fun in the Philippines no rather than sa mga ibang bagay na yung ibang bansa in the foreign countries no. So we move to the fundamental principles of humanities now. The fundamental principles in expression of humanism is are principles that give of humanities a unique character that shape its development. Sabi ko nga kanina, no, from the earlier slide ng ating naunang discussion ng virtual class, it shaped its our development. It's provide the history and acknowledge no, and read all everything that we have discussed in this world. So everything is being recorded, everything is being written over there, and it is a unique character that each day no that we live uh, we, we, we see and we try to look no on our unique one that we have. So, sabi nga natin na walang pare-pareho pero lahat tayo may magagandang nagong pagkakaiba-iba na pwede natin pagmalaki. So, it depends on the growth no and how we value things no. And humanism is associated with beliefs and the freedom that human beings are capable of making significant personal choices within the constraints imposed heredity, personal history, and environment. Yes, it depends on the cultural one and the customs and the traditions that we practices, no? Meron tayo. So it depends, like what we have in the Philippines. We have uh, composed of different regions. We have so many traditions. You have so many ideas no on how to create our beliefs in life. It is our freedom. No, wala namang such belief that pangit, wala namang such belief na sabihin natin na that speak no for overall that superior na tinatawag natin. We are all na sharing our own beliefs and our personal choice no in life. And this one is could be a part of our hereditary personal history and environment. Principles of the humanities stress the importance of individual and specific human needs. Among the major principles under humanism are the following. So let us try to look. No? We have the fundamentals, and these are the following. Human nature is inherently good. So that is a matter of fact that sabi ng mga philosophy, no? We are inherently born good. So wala naman sa ating pinanganak na masama agad, di ba? We try to look now when we are growing and we are growing up, we try to understand ourselves and why is it our expression, our attitude, something like that, and that is not. I'm not comport. Let's say that you're not comfortable or you're comfortable no, with your what you have, no, and when it comes to personality. So it depends on how would you treat and how would you discover yourself from your family that you belong to, that you raised to. So again, the human nature inherently is good. So wala sa ating pinanganak na kahit anong maging masama at naging isang negative sa ating na bawat isa in when it comes to life, when it comes to beliefs, when it comes to other perspectives in life no, of a people. Number two is individuals are free, are capable of making choices. We have our own free will. We have our own choice, no? And this choice is our decisions and our uh, things in life that we want to do, no? So if you choose not to be like this, that is your choice. It's a matter of choice that you want to, and do not blame others, no, for what you seek for. At kung ikaw man ay hindi naging successful, it is because of your choice. It is your will, no? That is the free will that being given by our Almighty or our Creator, si God or si Lord. Are you still listening and following my discussion?
Opo.
Yes po,
Okay,
Yes
very
sir.
po,
good.
sir.
Opo.
Okay, very good.
Opo.
So number three, we have human potential for growth and development is virtually unlimited. Yes, that is just like what I said no, from a few slides no, from the first meeting. Sabi ko nga no, we have unending ones. That is why we have human potential growth. For unending ones, there is always no unending development of the technology, and the progress itself is continuously no continuously create something. Maybe it's an out of the box, maybe it's an a kind of heavenly bodies, and we try to look upon no which is possible no to be ours or to be possessed by this belief these human beings no. Ang mga Pilipino isa sa mga having a human potential no and growth of an individual and virtually unlimited to different things. So tingnan, try to look no. Kung walang face shield, walang pambili, you can still use no yung mga ginawang bao. Pag walang pambili ng face mask, you can still use yung mga ginawang mga yung face shield, pwedeng gawin yung sa work kits, no? That you can still, no? Use for an alternative. So that's a group and development virtually unlimited for us as potential and everyone in this world, no? That human beings. As such, no, na dapat ikaw ay psychologically equipped because if you're psychologically equipped, you are given that you are in a good condition, di ba? No? You are being aware, you're in the state of good, no? So, walang bizarre behavior or walang kahit anong mga a problem when it comes to psychological aspect. Self-concept plays an important role in the growth and development. Of course, that the self-concept very important to us to better understand ourselves. So, for example, yung self-concept nyo when you are sa, let's try to look myself na lang no, as an example. Kasi self-concept, no? I try to look myself before na that I will be an not a teacher, but I try to look to become a psychologist. But then again, my future, no, here is to become a teacher because psychology is also a field for education, for teaching, not only for industrial, for clinical, no, and other such, no, in working in the clinic, no, when it comes to the profession of psychologist. But I try to look now myself, the self-concept plays an important, no, when it comes to the development is yung hurdle na ginawa in schools that we try to absorb and to get no, the ideas, the values. And right now, this is me and how I portray myself. And this my self-concept is caused by my education together with other things that I get no, the learnings from them. So that is self-concept, no. And of you as an HM students, no, I try to look on your understanding of the significance of this the subject and the course no itself na binigay niyo doon. At I amaze and I do believe na kaya niyong lahat yun at ang dami niyong naipaliwanag doon when it comes to industry, when it comes to the knowledge of the profession, and when it comes to the ideas no, na dapat na meron kayo sa skills and talents that you must possess. So I do believe that the self-concept plays no, very important no, when it comes to the growth and development of each one of us. So good thing yung mga nakita ko sa inyo. Next is individuals have an argue for self-actualization. Yes, we have to, sorry, not argue, that we have to urge for self-actualization. All of us want to become a success, no? To become a successful one in life. So that is a self-actualization that we want to see to our life. No? Ayaw naman natin lagi na pag-iiwanan. Ayaw natin na walang na-accomplish or walang na-finish. But that, it doesn't mean no, that you do not actualize yourself because it is your once in life that you want to be. No? And you actualize once you get one thing. No? Maybe it's a little, no, it's maybe a big one. But this one is, you're looking for a self-actualization. Sabi nga natin, no, okay na sa atin I pursue this one this course I finished no and despite of the situation and later on I will get no a good job for me no to feed myself and to help my parents and everything that I want to no to buy and for myself. So that is self actualization that you want no, and to urge in your life as an individual. Reality is defined by each person no. It depends how try to look no our reality right now sabi ng iba it is a advantage for others who sets no do sa ating activity. There's an advantage because you want to pursue something and you prove to yourself that this reality of pandemic you learn from from different perspective of your life. So maybe it's a faith, maybe it's a talent and skills, your ambition, your perfect perspective in life, how try to look no your abilities, the skills that you want to let's say to improve no that you have and etc. And individual have a responsibility to both themselves and to others. Of course, interconnected tayo sa isa't isa. And most importantly, when once we are interconnected, we have our own responsibility to each other. Kaya nga sabi nga natin no, walang nabubuhay para sa sarili lamang niya. Na tayong lahat ay may anong kantang yan? Tayong lahat ay may I forget the lyrics now of the song itself. That mean that individual have a responsibility to both themselves and to others now. So we are interconnected, and then again we are not no it's help no live for ourselves no, but for others also to help and contribute no one thing in our life. Next is the I'm sorry no I close no the PowerPoint. So next is the function of the art. So what are the function of the art? So when it when art is composed of to other human activities, the uncultured will generally regard as it's impractical. No, either it's not meant to meet the requirement of day-to-day living one. So it means no, pag sira ng isang bagay, it will not be a useful one to become a good no for the purpose of itself na ano ba tong bagay na to or it's served for what no kasi philosophically pag sinabing upuan at di mo ginawang upuan hindi na siya upuan, it become another thing, it become another idea, it become another object one no, to our perspective. So then again, the use itself is useful na that the function is for what? For the day-to-day life living and met for our requirements to the use of our to make our life easy. no? To a layperson deprived for a formal education, a painting or sculpture have very little survival function that make no man's life better. Thus, they are classified as functional art forms. So these are the things that you could see na in the a layperson who have having a deprived of formal education. So but other peoples now who are deprived of the liberties, if you want to try to look on them, no, hindi doon nagtatapos yung kanilang life. But try to look no how they being used, no, they the skills and the talents and the function of art and how others no believe to their potential and no to make no living for their lives na meron siya. So let us try to look no for other things that we have. So the function of art is still painting, sculpture, literature, music, dance, theater, though non-functional severe serve purposes for beyond mundane survival function. So we have the human need for beauty and aesthetics, such as sense, no, sensual amusement, and to be culture elevates human expression, bring it closer to the divine. So it's a fun on the making of the arts and how try to look no the beauty and aesthetics such as sensual amusement. So again, that is the delightness, that is the something that you entertain, no, that you might be a good perception to you and that is a good sense of humor for you, no, that you try to look that the beauty and aesthetics no is very useful or that the function is served for its no judgment na meron tayo. So like for example yung Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata for instance, alam natin yan sa mga magagandang compose no before, but you try to look na yung mga notes niya compared to the other songs, very complicated if you try to look no how it being played and look no yung sonata na to. So, sabi din dito, no, it provide the persons that much we needed nourishment, but listening to it doesn't something to human spirit, giving him hope, making him realize how basic it's just to be alive. So, at for instance, sabi nga natin, yun yung mga possible, what I said no, from the past one na meron tayo, and the upper one, no, in the slides na meron tayo dito sa part na to. So, again, no, these are serve as the functions of art only, no. It depends on you how is it being used to your life. So, kaya kami mga anti-collector, yung mga, until now, they are passionate in the music, no? Kahit na wala silang a good or stable job, but music is life, no, for them. And they try to look, no, that this one is forever in their heart and they will be forever in their life, no? So, that is a passion and the function of art when it comes to aesthetics, no? That brings them the light and entertain their self and others. Then the human needs for expression is it seems to be built in the human psyche, no? So ibig sabihin it's a part of our self, no, that we have a human need for expression. And indeed, this need to express is to show exhibit what is hidden in man's inner world, no? So ibig sabihin it is something to do with our inner expression, our inner personality that we want to exhibit our own one human psyche, no, na tinatawag. And these thoughts, emotions, their imagination, dreams, and aspirations are expressed in his art. So what I mentioned no, is something to do with your human psyche na hindi na nawawala that each time that we have no, that we do or what we do, let's say art, no, na ginagawa is it always accompanied our thoughts, emotions, imagination, our dreams, aspirations, no, na pwede natin makita. And more so na pwede natin masabi. But most importantly is how we express our inner self. No? That is the most important no, na pwede natin makita when it comes to human need for expression. Next is the social need for display, celebration, and communication. Well, actually, no, people really need this one. That is the display of celebration and communication. And it is being mentioned over here that it is not enough for man to express his inner world. Sabi ko nga, no, it's not only a part of the social needs na because it displays something and more than that and the inner world through his art. And he needs to share his convey it to others too. So in this way, others may know how he empathize and may realize that people are. So ibig sabihin, once people display something about their emotion, so it could be a picture, it could be a thing that they want to tell to somebody because it's a celebration, it's communication. A celebration can be captured in through of words, the word of mouth, and through of pictures, and through of a drawing, and whatever it is. Not if it is in any high technology use, could be a video, no, etc. And the communication one, what I said, no, through the word of mouth. So what I said is to empathize and realize people are, and how it could be a part of their life and could be a meaning to their to share their what they let's say share cherish the moments that they have. And next thing is the physical needs for function objects. And what are the physical needs for functions objects? All art is man-made. Yes, that is true. That is why in the nature of arts is being been mentioned here that everything that arts are being made or being done by man is an arts or crafts, not that being tried to look no an art, so the nature of arts. In the effort to make the human life better, objects are created like the wheel, which is also classified as art. All of technology is art. It is careful combination of form and functions. This is based on the premises or the premise that if an object is to perform its function for design, it should also allow it to do so. So everything that we invent, no, everything that we discover, everything that we get from this world, no, is it serves something for the physical needs for function and objects, like other chemicals, like other things that we get from the natural resources, like what we invent from ourselves, no, for the sake of our entertainment, no, whether it's different forms of arts and humanities, no, talks to. And more so, and the technology that we have is right now we are using the technology and it's the art that passionate not to do something that serves as a purpose and the function of objects that we have a virtual class right now and everything such the purpose to do no meron tayo. Next is art as viewed by philosophy. Art as views philosophy because it is a sub-discipline then at the same time. So his attempt to explain almost of aspect of human's existence, aesthetics, and his philosophical study of beauty and state. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo before, aesthetics is study of beauty and art. And the states aesthetics is something to do with the study of beauty and taste on how you perceive things and appreciate on your perception how you believe, no? If this one is really something that good and enough for you to sense that that is beautiful, in your eyes. And a philosophy is something to do with the discipline of you try to look no the deep meaning if it is hard try to look no on how you understand the such an art that you presenting because this is something that you want to try to understand by others no you try to portray for everyone and this philosophy attempt to explain the meaning of the human existence so that is when we have philosophy of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Protagoras, Pythagoras, diba, no? The universal change, so si Anaxagoras. So these are the most important thing that you need to understand better in the philosophy. And it is concerned with the nature of art and used as a basis for interpreting the evaluating individual works of arts, the aesthetic. So what I mentioned in the philosophy as the view. In order for the arts to be completely understood, the view of three famous philosophers are here undertaken from Plato, Aristotle, and lastly, Immanuel Kant. So try to look now with person Plato. So Plato discovered as an ancient Greece, no, he is known for his famous dialogue from the includes his equally famous teacher, no, Socrates, no. Socrates naman, Socratic dialogue natin yan, and I'm not no longer to describe many, about his past works and his achievements in life, no. And Plato was said to have a dialogue no, as basis the Republic, and said that Plato was seen as good literary art stylist and great storyteller of his own times. And now with these artistic abilities, he's considered the arts as threatening one. So, nakakatuwa that in the literary arts and the stylists, it is a great one, no? And until now, it is a threatening that really understand better by reading the books of the Noli and Elfili, that one that threatened the Spaniards, the colonizer in our country. And he saw the powerful that the arts can be shaping in person's character, such as Plato contended that although the arts can be strictly controlled, and yes, it depends on how your imagination, no, and your feelings, thoughts not being displayed on your literary arts, and how person shapes no, in one character. So it depends. How do you try to understand things? No, that is when very important to understand that you are conscious, no, that your idea, are something that to do with your consciousness, no, that you are being aware. And as premise to his two theories of art, it explained that the physical world is a copy of perfect, the rational, eternal, and it challenges originals. The originals are called the forms, beauty, justice, and even circular examples of these forms or ideas. Using this as basic, no, Plato presented his two ideas of the arts. So art is imitation because Plato explained that art is an imitation of physical thing, which in turn are imitations of the form. So try to look thing, no? How would you produce things without trying to look for others' ideas or inventions? You try to look them, no, and trying to look and what you can still be serve and use to develop this one. Ibig sabihin, you're trying to imitate and you're trying to develop furthermore, and you get something, and you will, let's say, you will create an advance compared to the present one that you are looking to, no, as your a copy of your imitation. So that is why he put that art is copy of a copy, which leads people farther or further from away the truth of forms. At best, works art are great for entertainment. So many things that we try to look at a copy of copy, that leads people to further from away the truth or the forms that we have. So we can still create, no? Try to look things. Pero ini yung mga forms of entertainment in the multimedia ngayon, makikita natin, oh, you can still create, or you can project yourself from through the animation, to the drawing, to the different forms of art that you have in the multimedia. Diba, no? But this is away from the truth of the forms that in reality that a human being, so that you can create something, no, outside from the box. Next is art is dangerous. That according to Plato, art has a power to steer emotions. So what you have mentioned and what you have answered from your activity, yes, that is true that art has a power to steer emotions. So that is why it is very an important matter to try to look, no, how our feelings are being goes, no, by listening to a music, by watching a movie, because our emotion being steered, and nagme-melt tayo pag nakikita natin that you are watching from a romantic movie, that you are watching an horror theme, no, or everything that we have in the genre, no, that we are trying to watch, no. And so the art should not go to uncensored as mentioned in the Republic. So as in the philosophy what that they have mentioned, no. These are the certain example that he works for and as one to describe. And art are people who have the ability to make a better copy of the true form as compared to other people. Plato saw the artist as having the skills, imagination, and creativity that would enable them to make an almost perfect copy of the forms. That is true. That artists are people who have the ability to make a better copy at, of copy of the true form that they have. Kaya nga, sasabihin natin, wow, that is something that really portraying the true picture of and forms of you. And that is why you try to look, no, yung ating mga standee. Oh, parang buhay na buhay, totoong totoo, taong tao. So, that is the form of, or this is the power of technology and other advanced technology and other advanced art that we have in the Philippines. And many, no? Na pwede natin makita. And Aristotle, we have also was a famous philosopher from the ancient Greece and a student of Plato regarding the artists, first distinguish between what is good and what is beautiful. So something that's good and what is beautiful is different how you perceive things. Diba? Or later on we will discuss. He stated that the good always presents itself in some actions while a thing beauty may exist even if motionless or object. So kung titignan natin, pag sinabing beautiful, it may exist in the motionless or object or things that portray an object that is beauty. No? So it could be a painting, a sculpture, architecture, or different forms in the humanities. Well, when say good, it always represent, no, it's up in some action. So you do goods, your deeds. What are you try to value, try to help others. No, you have the altruism. You help other people without any exchange of other things, or you don't have any intention, no, to help. And the end of that is you are asking for an favor or something. No? It's a good thing that you are trying to represent your some actions. In certain conditions, however, that the good may also be considered as beautiful, it is because something to do with your values and with the hearts that makes you a true beautiful in making that actions, because that is a good thing, as I mentioned earlier. Next, according to Aristotle also, that universal elements of beauty are manifested by order, symmetry, and definition. Yes, it is something to do with the manifested. That really, that beauty, no? Kaya nga minsan sinabi natin, it should be arranged accordingly, it should be alphabeticalized, it should be properly correct, no? Or in the proper sequence, no? And in the symmetry, no? Eh, para ka namang naging ano din minsan rin naman, OC, no? Kasi at some point, nagiging isang destructive din sa ating nag-occupy siya ng something into something our into negative one. But then again, we're talking about here the beauty of the manifestation, the order, symmetry, and definition. So that is why we want everything to become order, proper, something that we want to become an organized one. So that is why in your activity, I'm asking you to please follow the organization and to follow, try to look to improve your writing skills and to develop in something and even related to your what you hope to know in your activity and etc. In his poetic, he stated that physical manifestation of the beauty is likewise affected by its size. So that is true. Oo. That the beauty is likewise affected by its size. So, but it depends always, no? Pwedeng hindi, pwedeng oo. And it should be not be too big and not too small. So, lagi dapat, ano lang eh, may golden rule nga lagi, di ba si Aristotle? No? Yung lagi, sakto lang. Hindi dapat yung sobra at hindi rin dapat yung kulang. Kasi pag sobra, pwede sa kumpara sa pagkain, pwedeng gluttony, yung pagkakaano mo, no, kain yung pagkain mo, kahit busog ka na, kain ka pa ng kain. Pero yung konti lang, sabihin natin na kahit na hindi ka, kahit na gutom ka pa, no, sorry, kahit na kulang pa at sa tingin mo ay hindi mo na tawag hindi ka na makakain dahil kulang, eh, wala ka na magagawa kasi you have a limited of resources, you have a limited of thing that needed, no? And the arts aim was to give pleasure and giving pleasure. So again, that is a delight. It's a form of entertainment. They want us to pursue something that we want to achieve our pleasures in life. So it depends on you how you pleasure, no, at such a thing that we discover and we see things in our life. So that's always on your perception and how you deal with it, no. And the arts represented, no, are presented itself as an activity. Then again, no, arts is presented as an activity. So we do such activity like what we do an action, what we do some little steps, no, what we do little something, no, like what we have, or what we're doing in sculpture, painting, dancing, literature, and the arts of many fields, no, that we have. And Aristotle considers the art as imitation or representation of nature. Pero nature cannot copy the nature of art or the work of art of a people, but man can capture the nature, no, and can imitate the representation of nature. Like what we have, di ba? Yung mga amusement park, tama po ba? And pwede nating sabihin na susunod ng mga discussion natin, papakita natin yung difference ng nature at saka ng man-made, okay? So in representing nature arts demonstrated knowledge discovery for objects of the art show disposition, passion, and action. It's like what I mentioned, it served for something, no? And served for something that gives disposition. Like the museum, like yung mga ginawang mga amusement park, like yung mga leisure park na meron tayo, it is something to do with, no, an imitation or representation of nature. So, poetry, music, and dance, according to Aristotle, imitate some aspect of human nature through rhythm, harmony, melody, and vocal sounds. That is true. When it comes to music, we have our own the harmony. How is it being played, no, and how is it being uh, put, no, the note, no, and even the lyrics, no. And when it comes to dance, you have the bodily coordination. How would you do things, no? When it comes to according to your mind, to your body, and to your actions. No? And poetry, in some language, we do some nature of how to make it a vocal sound to others or appropriate or good to others now when they hear the words that you're trying to tell on others. So sabi nga natin, no, like yung mga euphemism, no, that makes words to become informal to formal. No? Instead that he died, you said, no, he passed away. To make it a beautiful one, no, in your sounds or in your music, in your ears. So certain kinds of music are successful in calming while the excitement and the tragedies are effective in stirring up emotions. That is true. The musics are really good at calming in calming while the excitement. And when you hear the music, it's such serve as purpose of the music therapy. At some point, we have art therapy. It depends on the needs of a person and how to make the person become calm and be a stable one, in her emotion, and that's steering the emotion up to what intense or up to what level of the effectiveness that they want to process. No?